Hello and welcome to a very early edition of Weekly MTG, for us at least.
Well, yeah, early for us. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, spending your mornings, afternoons, evenings, nights, wherever you are, with us here at Weekly MTG.
Night. Yeah. I'm Blake Rasmussen. This is Steve.
Hi.
Steve, what do we have on tap for this morning?
Well, Blake, funny you should ask. We are talking about eSports and competitive gaming.
Ooh, I like those words together.
I know. It's something that people might recognize as organized play, what we've called organized play in the past. We're going to talk about a lot of things that people have been clamoring for us to talk about, not the least of which is the upcoming...
Few people.
Not the least is the upcoming Grand Prix schedule, and that is coming later, so please stick around.
We swear we are not slow-rolling you.
There's a reason for it.
It is coming. This stream's only going to be about 30 minutes long.
You won't have to wait too long.
But there's a method to our madness. There's a couple things we have to talk about first, because it all works together.
Yeah.
And so that's... 2019 is this big transition year for us, and all of these interlocking pieces are kind of coming together. Interlocking pieces.
Yeah, well, I mean, and one of those interlocking pieces is of course the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been wondering about the current structure of how you qualify for the Pro Tour, how you get there, the path there, and that's changing in 2019.
It is changing.
Pretty significantly, if I might say so.
So it's changing kind of partway through the year. So because we're already in qualifying for the first two Pro Tours, the first two Pro Tours of 2019, Cleveland and London, are not changing.
Okay, so you'll still be going to an PPTQ
to an RPTQ or qualifying through a Grand Prix or Pro Level, or the normal ways that people have been qualifying for.
So what about March and beyond? What's happening with those?
So starting in March, we're going to be working with this new qualification system that will qualify you for Pro Tour Dallas and beyond, Dallas-Fort Worth and beyond. So there are going to be three main ways to qualify for the Pro Tour. Two of them you're pretty familiar with a little couple twists, and then one we're going to talk a little bit more extensively about.
So let's talk about let's base things in aspects that people are familiar with about qualifying. So what are the first two methods that people can qualify?
Yeah, first one's easy. Pro Club level and Pro Tour finishes.
Sure.
Those really aren't changing. We'll announce the Pro Club level, exact levels later, but essentially more or less the same. If you're platinum, you're qualified. If you're gold, you're qualified, et cetera, et cetera. And then if you finish in the top of the Pro Tour, you're qualified for the next Pro Tour.
What about the second method?
So the second method finishes at Grand Prix. So again, this is very familiar to people. Now there is a twist. So let's say that you qualify. We're going to use Grand Prix Bilbao as there is a Grand Prix Bilbao this year. We'll get to that in the schedule. But we're going to use that as our example when we're talking through this. So let's say that you qualify through Grand Prix Bilbao. That tournament might actually qualify you not for the next Pro Tour. So we used to be in a system where there was a period of time. And during that time, if you qualified for the Pro Tour, you qualified for the very next Pro Tour. We're moving away from that to an event-based system. Okay. So what we mean by event-based is that events, qualifying events and Grand Prix will qualify you for a specific event, not necessarily the next event. Could be the next event, but it isn't necessarily. So the Grand Prix, if you finish well in those, will qualify you mostly, this isn't always true, but mostly for the next Pro Tour in the same region in which that Grand Prix was held. So what that means, if you qualify through Grand Prix Bilbao, you will qualify for the next Pro Tour held in Europe.
All right, so that was a lot of words to throw.
So many words.
So many
You're
words.
Welcome.
Welcome to Weekly MTG.
I can do words.
You're very good at words.
Yeah, thank you.
I would say. The long and the short of it seems like if you go to a Grand Prix in a certain region, if you qualify for Pro Tour through that Grand Prix, you'll be it'll be usually for the next Pro Tour in that region.
Correct.
All right.
Yep. And part of that is to one of the things we haven't done is Pro Tours in Europe it's been about the whole world, and part of that we want to give it a bit of local flavor. So we want Pro Tours in Europe to feel European. We want Pro Tours in APAC to have an APAC feel. So we're giving a little bit of regionalization to that. Should we talk about the third qualifier?
Let's talk about the third because I think it is the biggest change to the current structure.
It is. So we heard a lot of feedback over the years. We've been doing this PPTQ, RPTQ system for a few years now.
Sure.
And the biggest complaint was it takes multiple weekends. You go to one tournament, and then you're not even sure if you can make the next tournament. And it was just too many steps. Doing away with that. We're just not going to do that anymore. Instead of having PPTQs and RPTQs, we are just going to go back to a direct system of qualifying.
So Pro Tour qualifying events, essentially.
Yeah, so this is, anyone familiar with the PTQ system old, this is going to be similar. Not exactly the same. We're going to get into that in a second. But if you go to one of these qualifying events, it will qualify you for the Pro Tour. You don't have to go to an event, play there, win there, and then go to another event, play there, win there, and then qualify. So we're knocking out that first step. So there are going to be two types of qualifying events. Open and invitation only. So
those sound pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to ask you to explain them anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to. So the open ones are just what they sound like. Anyone can enter. So if you go to a Grand Prix weekend, I hesitate there because we got some stuff
we got more stuff coming down.
Then you go to one of these qualifying events. It's open to anyone. You can play in it. Doesn't matter. There's no minimum threshold. You play in it, you win it, you qualify for the Pro Tour. The invitation-only ones are exactly what they sound like. There's going to be thresholds to enter these. So we're looking at a couple things right now. For example, there might be a Planeswalker point threshold to get in, and these will be capped on attendance too. Part of this is to make sure that these don't balloon into the PTQs of old that were 500, 600 people for one slot.
Right.
These can be multiple slot tournaments, but yeah, so they're going to be invitation only. There's a couple other wrinkles. These are not necessarily, but might be regionalized. So again, we're going back to the event-based. People can hold direct qualifiers, and they can kind of choose, not the players, sorry, the event organizers. The event
organizers or the
can kind of choose
organizer,
where they want to qualify for the Pro Tour.
Okay, so you could play in a qualifying event in North America, for example, and it might be a qualifying event for a Pro Tour in APAC or Europe.
Yep, or vice versa,
or even
whatever.
North America.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you kind of caught a hint there that these events, professional tournament organizers and best-in-class WPN stores will actually be able to apply to hold these events. So while we're not doing PPTQs at the store level anymore, stores will have the opportunity to actually just run direct qualifying tournaments.
So you could qualify for the Pro Tour by a tournament run by your local game store?
Yep, that is definitely possible if you are a local game store listening to this. The WPN program is going to have some communication about this that they're posting this morning. They'll have a little bit more detail on what this means for you. These tournaments don't start again until March, so there's a little bit of time still to get your application together and what you want to do. But essentially, we're opening these up for someone to come to us and say, hey, I've got a really cool idea. I want to run this multi-day tournament, and at the end of it, I'd love to give away 4 Pro Tour slots, and I want them to go to this Pro Tour. And if the idea is really cool and it fits with all the other invitations, we've got invitations left to go out, we're going to say, you know what, yeah, do it. We'll help you out. We'll get this going. But it really, we've talked to some professional tournament organizers already, and we've heard some really cool ideas. I'm not going to share what any of them are because everything's still in the works. But there's some really cool ideas about tournament series that might be coming that will qualify you for the Pro Tour.
So, this is a lot of information to throw at you guys. I get it. To be clear, all of this stuff is going to be in an article on WeeklyMTG after we finish the stream. Blake is literally going to stand up, walk to his
I may not even stand up. I'm going to reach for my computer, push the button, the article will be live.
If you feel like you missed something, don't worry. After the stream, you'll be able to go to WeeklyMTG and see all this information in its complete in a complete form, which is really great. Lots of changes coming. This was a system that we've been working on behind the scenes for a pretty long time with people inside the building, people outside the building, pro player consultants.
Yeah, we've had the pro player consultants in the building. They've looked at this system. We've had people in the building working on it for about 6 months, dedicated. There obviously was some idea pitching before that, but dedicated working on this new system for 6 months. And we think it's a big improvement as we transition again through 2019. 2019 is going to be a different year. 2020 is going to be even more different and really exciting. I've seen some of the initial plans for what's going to happen, but
Nice. Can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, that's
a little way down.
Right now, I guarantee you what people are asking about. I can't see Twitch chat.
But I'd assume it's the Grand Prix schedule.
I'd assume it's the Grand Prix schedule.
So we're almost there, I promise.
So close.
So the first thing is there is a pretty big name change when it comes to Grand Prix.
Yeah, name and philosophical. So Grand Prix weekends have become this whole thing that's about more than just the main event. Obviously, the main event gets a lot of the press.
Right.
But honestly, like, I don't know what the actual numbers are, but it's something like half the people who actually show up aren't playing in the main event. They're playing in all these side events. They're playing in side events, they're doing cosplay, they're trading, they're playing with friends.
Exactly. They're celebrating
events.
Magic.
Yeah, they're celebrating Magic. They're going to literal festivals of Magic. And so we want to recognize that and kind of broaden the way we think about these events. So we're renaming them MagicFest, all one word, capital F, MagicFest weekend. So there's going to be a Grand Prix at MagicFest. So our hypothetical Grand Prix Bilbao is going to be the Grand Prix at MagicFest Bilbao.
Right.
With that comes another philosophical change.
Yes.
Actually, an organizational change.
Which I think is
cool.
really cool. I think it's really great.
Pro Tours are going to be held at MagicFest weekends.
So if you are really interested in following your favorite player through the Pro Tour, and there's a Grand Prix in your city that also has a Pro Tour there, you can go hang out at the Grand Prix, play Commander with your friends, while also seeing on a monitor nearby exactly what's going on during the Pro Tour, which is so cool.
And MagicFest has so much going on. You can, so now people know several MagicFests that are on the schedule. So the first one of the year that includes a Pro Tour is going to be MagicFest Cleveland. So you could go to the Grand Prix at MagicFest Cleveland, play in that main event, and while you're there, also check out the Pro Tour. You know, maybe you don't do so well on day one, and so on day two, you end up playing in a qualifying event, an open direct qualifying event for the Pro Tour. And then while you're there, you check out the championship. And what's really cool about this change is that I've been to a lot of Pro Tours over the years. I've done coverage, and the hall always gets really quiet for the top 8. Because people have gone home. It's usually a Sunday at a convention center downtown, which isn't the most accessible if you don't know where you're going. But there's already going to be a ton of people there who already love Magic, and the Pro Tour is going to be right in front of them.
Right, and we know how excited people get when the top 8 gets announced. We know how excited people get when a champion is crowned. This seems like a really good opportunity to get the community a little more involved in celebrating that with their favorite players.
Yeah, I mean, we always see questions like, hey, is the Pro Tour open? Can we go watch it? Absolutely. Yes, it is. MagicFest is open to everyone.
Awesome.
And you can go and you can play Magic, you can watch Magic, and it's going to be a really cool event.
Well, we've done a lot of talking, but I think we're going to kick it over to a special video message from our friends at CFB Events, which has some information that everybody out there might be interested in. So let's kick it over to that video.
Hi there, I'm Dennis from CFB Events, and I'm here to talk to you about 2019. We have the Grand Prix scheduled, and it's coming in just a second, don't worry. But it's going to look a little bit different. We still have the Grand Prix, they're just part of a larger event now called a MagicFest, featuring the Grand Prix. Everything you love, the artists, the vendors, the main event, the side events, that's all still there, it's just got a new name. The Pro Tour qualifying events, which Blake's already talked about a little bit, will be similar too. There'll still be general entry at the events. Anyway, without further ado, here is the first quarter of the 2019 Grand Prix schedule. And remember, all of these events are open for registration now at cfbevents.com/2019, and you can go there to see the rest of the year's schedule too. Enjoy.
So that is the first part of the schedule. Now we're going to get into exact dates.
Yep.
Right
and
now.
We've got some slides for you. We're not going to make you wait any longer. Let's get to those slides.
We'll run right through the Grand Prix schedule. So we're going to run through the Grand Prix schedule for all of 2019. What you just saw in the video were the formats for the first quarter. So along with the Pro Tour, we're moving to a philosophy, well, Channel Fireball is adopting the philosophy of doing event types later.
Right.
So they announced the event type for the first quarter. So that's all the Bilbao, Modern, etc. that you just saw there. And then for the rest of the year, they'll announce those quarterly.
Okay.
So ahead of time. So you'll get the second quarter. I think they were talking in January. I don't have that exactly, but
what we're going to do now is we're going to take you month by month through the schedule with all, hopefully most of the information that you need. But if there's information that's not here that you want, you can check out cfbevents.com/2019, and you should be able to see the full schedule there. All right, let's take a look at those slides. Get it out there. There we go.
Okay, so we're kicking things off with Oakland on starting the weekend of January 4th, which is going to be Modern.
Modern GP, and then we'll go over to Prague for Limited and New Jersey for Limited on the 11th and the 25th, respectively.
Yep, and then in February, Sydney, that's a Limited tournament. Then we've got Toronto the following weekend is Modern, and then a double GP weekend the week of February 15th is Memphis and Strasbourg. Memphis is Standard, Strasbourg is Limited.
Yep.
And then that combination MagicFest Pro Tour weekend, Cleveland, February 22nd, which is going to be really exciting. I'm looking forward to that one.
And that is a limited Grand Prix main event.
Yep.
So let's head on to March, and this will be the first. Set of Pro Tours that are through the new qualifying system.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So March 1st.
That was more a question.
Yeah. So March is absolutely loaded with Modern tournaments. So LA is Modern, Tampa Bay is Modern, Bilbao is Modern. So that's two Modern GPs on the same. Two Modern GPs during MagicFest on the same weekend. I'm still getting used to the terminology as well.
We're all going to get used to it together, Blake.
Kyoto Standard, and then Calgary is Modern. And so that's where the formats end. So that's where we know all the formats.
That's the first quarter of 2019.
Yep.
And then we get into the other rest of the year, which we're going to show you the full schedule, so don't worry about that.
Yep.
April, on the 12th, we've got Sao Paulo. On the 19th, the double GP weekend, Niagara Falls and Yokohama. And on the 26th, London with Pro Tour London as well.
Niagara Falls is really intriguing to me.
Yeah.
I've never been.
Do you think they're going to play like on a barrel as they're going down the falls?
I don't. That seems like a legal hazard and dangerous, and I don't think we'll do that.
Reasonable. Extremely
So
reasonable.
let's move on. And again, if you want to check out this schedule afterwards,
CFBEvents.com/2019.
Yeah, he's got that memorized.
May,
the 10th, we're going to, or CFB Events is going to Madison, which is a really big Magic town.
Yeah.
lot of big players have come from there. Madison's a great place to play Magic. Oh my God, we're going there on May 17th.
Boy, am I glad that I gave you May.
I know, I can't pronounce that. I apologize. May 24th, Providence, and then May 31st is Kansas City.
June, we got the weekend of the 7th in Taipei. The 14th is another double GP weekend with Washington, D.C. and Copenhagen. The 21st, Seattle, and the 28th, Dallas-Fort Worth.
And again, that's MagicFest with the Pro Tour attached to it.
So anything that you see in the Mythic Orange,
Yep.
That is a MagicFest weekend that has both a GP and a Pro Tour.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we have July and August. So the 12th is Grand Prix or MagicFest Detroit. It's going to take some getting used to.
Well, the Grand Prix is also on that weekend.
The Grand Prix
fair.
at MagicFest Detroit.
Yeah.
Then the 19th is in Denver. And then the 26th, we're already back to another Pro Tour at a MagicFest in Barcelona.
Which is very cool. August, we got the 2nd in Chiba, 9th Minneapolis, 16th in Birmingham, and the 23rd in Las Vegas. GP Vegas.
Las Vegas.
So MagicFest Vegas now. We're going to have to get used to saying
MagicFest
Vegas.
Yeah. Next up, we have September and October. So in September, we are going to Indianapolis, Ghent, and Atlanta.
October, we have the 4th in Montreal. The 11th, it's another double GP weekend in Utrecht and Bangkok. And Phoenix on the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Getting close to the end of the year here, Blake.
Almost Halloween there, yeah. November, my birthday month. It's coming up. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm the only one. It's fine. We've got Lyon on the first weekend in November, and then we've got, look at this, we got another Pro Tour at MagicFest in Richmond. We're going back to Sao Paulo, so we're going to do Sao Paulo twice this year, which is really
Sao
cool.
Paulo, MagicFest.
Yeah,
all right.
Brazil's
all right.
a great Magic community, so we're going there twice this year. And then November 22nd, we are doing Columbus, and then Bologna on November 29th.
And then to round out the year in December, we've got a MagicFest Pro Tour again in Brisbane on the weekend of December 6th. 13th, we're going to Oklahoma City, and we'll round out the year of MagicFest in Portland, Oregon on the 20th.
Yep, and I will add there is one outstanding MagicFest still to be determined. That's going to take place likely in the APAC region, so Asia Pacific, so somewhere between Australia up through China and Japan. There will be one event in the fourth quarter. Channel Fireball is still working out the location for that one.
Got it. So keep an eye out with our to our friends at CFB Events. Thank you so much for that pre-recorded video. And yeah, for the full schedule, once again, please head to CFB Events /2019, and you'll be able to check out that full schedule.
.com,
CFBEvents.com/2019.
People know what you meant.
So everybody in Twitch chat has questions. It's understandable.
Do we have?
There's a lot
all
of
right,
things. We have some questions.
Let's see what we can answer.
There are questions. Thank you to our moderators in Twitch chat that are passing us these questions. There are questions about how to reach the Planeswalker point threshold for the invite-only qualification events.
Yep. All of that will be announced later. We don't have either thresholds, and there's a chance there could be other invitation levels that are not related to Planeswalker points but are related to store play. We're looking at a couple of those options right now.
There are also a lot of questions in Twitch chat asking about formats. So if you weren't here for the video from CFB or our explanation, we'll go over it one more time. The formats for the first quarter of 2019 have been announced, and you can see those at cfbevents.com/2019.
Yep.
So you'll be able to see the first quarter. So that's January, February, March. And then we'll be announcing the formats quarterly,
yes.
I believe. So you'll be able to get a quarter of events at the same time.
Yep.
And Blake, the explanation for that was that it allows...
It just gives us more flexibility to do what players want. And it's the same philosophy we're adopting for the Pro Tour, so that we can do something really exciting that players are looking forward to.
Okay. And also, let's reiterating that there seems to be some confusion in chat that your local store is able to run qualifying events for...
They're able to apply.
To run
Yep.
qualifying events for Pro Tours.
Yeah, so you have to show that you have some space, you have the ability to get judges, all that jazz. Local stores should get in touch with the WPN and talk a little bit more about it. So it's an application process, but if stores are interested, get in touch with your rep, get in touch with the WPN, and they'll walk you through how that's going to go.
Yeah, and they'll be able to apply. They'll be able to give local stores more details. So if you are interested in having your local store host a Pro Tour qualifying event, please get in touch with them and tell them to contact the WPN.
These are going to be capped, but they're still going to be 150, 200-person events. I'm not exactly sure what the cap is yet. So it's not something that you can hold just in any store. You may need some extra space.
So Blake, there are also questions in Twitch chat about how the changes in Pro Tour how to qualify for the Pro Tour affects Magic the Gathering Online qualification.
Good question. Magic the Gathering Online is still going to hold qualifying in much the same way that it was before. Obviously, prior there was also you could win a PPTQ in real life, and there was kind of a backdoor where you could do a quote-unquote RPTQ on Magic Online. Obviously, there's no more PPTQs, so Magic Online is going to continue running events much the same way that they did before.
Okay. So another question, how does Bronze change with this announcement?
This announcement does not particularly affect the pro levels.
Okay.
Yeah. There's going to be some more updates and tweaks to what the pro levels mean. They're not big changes by any stretch of the imagination, more like precise levels and that sort of deal. But that information is still coming.
So I'm going to give a little bit more time for questions to come in if you guys have more questions, and we're going to do a quick recap. I think that would be helpful to everybody currently watching.
Absolutely.
So today on the stream we talked about new ways to the new qualification system for Pro Tours. Two of them are pretty much the same: Pro Club and Pro Tour finish-based invites, qualifying through Grand Prix.
Yep.
And there are some wrinkles to that you can read. We're not going to go into it during the recap, but you can read it on daily after the stream.
Yep, and then the short version of the third way is that we're doing away with PPTQs, the tiered system. There's just going to be direct qualifying tournaments. Some are going to be open, some are going to be invitation only. And professional tournament organizers and like the best of the best stores in WPN can apply to run some of these events.
And then for Grand Prix changes, the weekend is being renamed as MagicFest, a celebration of Magic. It's just a renaming. Everything else about GPs are staying the same.
Yep.
And a lot of all MagicFests are going to be combined with every Pro Tour as well.
Yep. So it'll be the Pro Tour at MagicFest Cleveland is how it's a mouthful, but it's how we're going to talk about those. And if you're wondering about hashtags for MagicFest, because thought of that.
Yeah.
The article that I'm going to post on WeeklyMTG immediately after this will have the hashtags for the events in the MagicFest.
So for those of you that really love social media and hashtags, you can do that.
Yep.
And again, for the full schedule of Grand Prix, we announced it here on stream, but you'll also be able to see it at www.cfbevents.com/2019.
I'm pretty sure they're doing the same thing that I'm doing, and as soon as this stream is done, they're pushing the button. They may have already pushed it already. I don't know.
So we have a couple more questions. Arena, Magic the Gathering Arena, PTQs in the future, a possibility?
Anything's a possibility right now with Arena. If you don't know, we're in open beta. So basically, we're testing a lot of stuff. There are no hard plans for any sort of qualifying event on Arena right now. But it's one of those things that's an idea in our mind, and who knows what the future is going to bring.
Somebody asked, are there no longer Team GPs? Not all the formats have been announced for the year.
Yep.
So
there aren't any currently in the first quarter.
No.
So we did it's heavy on modern,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of limited, some standard, but currently no Team GPs. There's no policy of doing away with Team GPs or anything like that. There just aren't any in the first quarter.
Right. So, and you'll be able to see the formats again announced quarter by quarter as we continue on throughout the year.
But again, that's something if there's a big, and that's part of the reason for doing this flexible schedule instead of announcing everything year at a time. If Channel Fireball hears, hey, we really want a Team GP, we really, really want a Team GP, they can start putting those in the second half or the second quarter of the schedule for next year.
Or even the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, so if you've got an event, the event type that you want a Grand Prix to do in your hometown, start tweeting at Channel Fireball, because I want to make Dennis's life harder.
We've got, let's see here. So question, what does being a best-in-class WPN store mean?
Yeah, it's sort of a, so this is kind of a pilot program. I should have said that earlier, is that we have in the past dabbled in giving Pro Tour invites to professional tournament organizers, but we've never opened it up to just WPN stores. So best in class, what we're trying to say with that is that you've really got to be able to host a good event and give a good experience.
Right, we don't want players feeling left out in the lurch because they came to this event and were disappointed.
Yep. So there's no specific qualifications right now. This is a pilot program, and so as we work with WPN stores on both their pitches and what these events look like, we're going to evolve that system a bit. So my recommendation is if you think your store can run in a good event, apply.
Yeah, encourage them to apply. To the WPN.
Even if you aren't picked, you'll get some good feedback on, hey, maybe upgrade this or do this next time, and you might be able to. It's a whole pilot system, and that's going, like I've said a couple times, 2019 is a big transition year. So we think this is awesome. We think letting stores run direct qualifying events is really cool, but we've also got to learn from it. So if you want to apply, and we'll learn from there. So
here's a question that relates. Do Pro Tour qualifying event formats have to match the Pro Tour format?
No, because we're not even announcing the Pro Tour format until it's like 8 to 12 weeks prior to the Pro Tour in 2019. And these events, as I said, these qualifying events can qualify you for a specific Pro Tour. So again, let's say a store comes to us and they have this really cool idea for a Pro Tour qualifying event, and they want to hold it in February. but they want to qualify you for the Pro Tour in December for whatever reason. Maybe they just like the location or whatever. They can do that, which means that you could hypothetically qualify for a Pro Tour in February that isn't held till December.
Right.
Likewise, they might say, we want to hold this in February, but we want it to qualify for the Pro Tour in June. That can happen too. So there's a lot of flexibility with this schedule. Nothing's hard. Well, nothing's, before it was a very rigid schedule. If you held an event in this time period, it qualified you for this Pro Tour. This gives us a little bit more flexibility. So no, the event qualifying you for the Pro Tour does not have to match the format of the Pro Tour.
All right, and we've got a question about actually our Twitch stream. What will Magic Twitch stream cover at a MagicFest weekend? Will it be a GP, the GP event, a Pro Tour, etc.?
If there's a Pro Tour, it will definitely be the Pro Tour. So we've had some conversations about this. There's still a lot that's being determined. Coverage is constantly evolving. We don't have a specific plan for what's going to happen now. We know we will definitely be featuring the Grand Prix. What that looks like exactly, we're still working on.
Great. Well, speaking of Twitch, this is actually not our only show today.
We're doing 2 shows today, because why not? Why not
really
get up
like
early and then do this twice? Yeah.
We really like you guys. So just so you know, we are going to be back later on today.
2 p.m. Pacific time.
Yep. With Michelle Sutterfield and Greg Tito from the Dungeons & Dragons team.
Yeah.
They're going to be talking about TwitchCon, and that'll be at 2 p.m. We have one more question, then we're going to wrap it up here. Will the new system change the average amount of Pro Tour invites in all regions?
I can't speak to regionally because, again, there's flexibility for stores to apply for events. So in some ways that hasn't been determined, the number of invites per region. What it does affect is, and we announced with the change to 6 Pro Tours next year, is the first 2 Pro Tours of the year, which are under the old qualification system, are going to be Pro Tours that are the size that we're used to, 400-ish players. Events after that are then going to be smaller, so 200 to 300-ish players. Over the course of the year, the total number of invites is roughly equivalent to when we had 4 events, but it's spread over 6 events. So regionally, that's still sort of to be determined, and that's more like numbers here, there, and I know the team has some math on that, but no, specifically, it will not.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. If you are, in our same region, we know it's very early, so we appreciate you taking time out of your morning. In all other regions, we appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend a little bit of time with us, hear about the new changes that we're doing for competitive gaming and esports and competitive gaming.
Yep.
Let us know if you have any other questions. You can tweet at Blake.
You can tweet at me.
You can tweet at Blake.
At Blake PR.
But you can also tweet at CFB Events. They are the ones in charge of the Grand Prix, and hopefully they'll be able to answer your questions too. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back at 2 o'clock to talk about TwitchCon. But in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, everyone.